What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn states that the #1 ranked heavyweight is overrated. Hearn said this statement. He said, "I think Zhang's overrated. Good fighter, big southpaw, but not for me, you know." Okay. Those are the words of Eddie Hearn. Now let me counterpunch. I don't think Zhang's overrated at all. If anything, I think Zhang was underrated. I think people overlooked Zhang. People looked at Zhang, 6-round fighter, aging fighter, you know what I mean? Really didn't live up to the potential of his career. And, he lost to Filip Hrgovic in that, controversial decision or whatever. And, I think because of that, people just really kind of turned their back and not really paid attention to Zhang, okay, until he knocked out Joe Joyce. Stopped Joe Joyce, then knocked him out. You know what I mean? Now, Eddie's saying he's overrated. Now, why would Eddie say that? Well, if I am the promoter of Anthony Joshua, a guy that dropped Zhang in the amateurs, I would have that mindset. So I get it. I get why Eddie's saying it. I think he's overrated because, Joshua knocked his ass down in the Olympic trials, right? Okay. And because of that, I don't see what other people see. And then also keep in mind, Eddie Hearn thinks of Joe Joyce as a tough fighter, but nothing really special. But again, the sparring wars, right? Not really the rumors, but the wars that Joyce had with Joshua. You know, that shit leaked last year, right? That somebody in Joshua's camp went ahead and leaked the video. It was a clip, okay? It was just a segment of Joshua just, just playing with him, with Joyce. You know what I mean? Just giving him the business. And then moving. And it's like, oh, okay. And seeing stuff like that, knowing those type of things, knowing that happened, dropping Zhang. Zhang knocked out Joe Joyce. You don't really look highly of Joe Joyce. So why would you look highly of Zhang? I get it. It makes sense. However, let me counterpunch. I call Zhang overrated because, as you guys know, the heavyweight division is so incomplete to the point you don't know who the hell to win these fights. We have an idea based on our own mind, based on what these fighters have previously done, which ain't been much, people. It ain't been much. You got a lot of guys, like the guys with the best resumes, Joshua, Dillian White, Derek Chisora. Those are the 3 guys that has the best resumes. Now, it's a lot of guys that have not. You have guys like Andy Ruiz, because there was all kind of opportunities for him to fight. And then, and then even when he fought guys, it didn't really matter. Like, how much credit would you get from fighting a 50-year-old Ortiz? Come on, man, really? You know what I mean? What else? Luis Ortiz, himself. That's not, Tyson Fury. Fought Wilder 3 times. Deontay Wilder fought Fury 3 times. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, you have a lot of these fighters that haven't really navigated outside of certain avenues to see how they'll match up and what the hell they'll do with other fighters. That's the problem. That's the problem right there. So when we're looking at these guys that we don't know what they'll do, we just think because we are a fan of them based on what they did with fighters that, either they were nobodies, underachievers, right? Tyson and Wilder, they're guilty of that. Luis Ortiz was a pawn. So how many people could he fight? You know what I mean? He was an Al Heyman pawn at that point. He was with Matchroom, then he moved over to Al Heyman's stable and became a gatekeeper because he was an aging fighter, and we know the rumors of Ortiz. Like, dude, how old are you really? You know what I mean? He'll tell you, go fuck yourself, because he knows, dude, I'm really older than I claim to be. But saying all that, right? If Zhang is that overrated, and you look at Zhang in that way, Eddie, how about this? How about you make a fight with Anthony Joshua against Zhilei Zhang, since he's that overrated? Because this is what I don't like. I don't like for people, especially promoters, to diss other fighters from other promotional camps. And we know Zhang is a part of now Queensberry because Frank Warren did a smart thing by fucking signing him, right? So we know that. So I say this, if he's that overrated, you know, put Joshua in there with him. I mean, he's overrated, right? Put Joshua in there. See, we'll see what Joshua can do. And then we can see how overrated Zhang is. Being a southpaw, kryptonite, I think, for Joshua. I think the Otto Vailene fight didn't happen, honestly, because Otto Vailene's a southpaw. He got beat back-to-back by a southpaw. So, Eddie, Booby, put Anthony in there. But anyway, that's my counterpunch on Eddie Hearn stating that Zhilei Zhang is overrated. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace!